This is the file they tried to kill. This is the file that the Department of Homeland Security wiped from their servers at 4 a.m. on Wednesday. This is the file that President Trump reportedly threw his phone at when he realized it had hit the internet. If you are watching this, you have likely already seen the clips. You have seen the grainy, low-light footage spreading like a virus across Telegram, Signal, and the dark corners of X, but you haven't heard the full story. You haven't heard the audio that turns a tragic shooting into a state-sanctioned execution. As of this morning, Friday, January 30th, 2026, the official narrative regarding the death of nurse Sarah Jenkins in Minneapolis has not just collapsed, it has been obliterated. But at 2:06 a.m. Eastern Time, a hacktivist collective known as the Glass House dumped 4 terabytes of encrypted data onto the public web. Buried in that dump was a folder titled "Jenkins Kill Confirmed." It proves that Sarah Jenkins was kneeling. It proves she was identifying herself as a medic. And most terrifyingly, it captures the voice of a command officer in the agent's earpiece, giving a direct order to open fire. Clear the board. Take the shot. Those 3 words have turned a manslaughter case into a conspiracy investigation that reaches the highest levels of the federal government. In this exhaustive deep dive special report, we are going to walk you through the leaked footage frame by frame. We are going to analyze the command voice that authorized the kill. We're going to expose the desperate 3 a.m. panic inside the West Wing as they realized the cover-up had failed. And we are going to look at why the Joint Chiefs of Staff are suddenly refusing to answer the president's calls. The cover-up is over. The unraveling has begun, and Donald Trump knows it. To understand the magnitude of this leak, we have to understand the level of security surrounding these files. The Federal Rapid Response Teams, FRRT, deployed to Minneapolis were not using standard police body cams. They were using military-grade Axon X systems. These cameras don't just record to a local SD card, they stream live encrypted footage directly to a command center in Washington, D.C., and redundantly to a DHS server farm in Virginia. When the shooting happened on Tuesday night, the White House knew immediately that the footage was damning. According to whistleblowers who spoke to the Washington Post this morning, an order was given at 9 p.m. Tuesday to quarantine the footage. This is the digital equivalent of burning the tapes. The file was moved from the active server to a deep storage partition, accessible only by top-secret clearance holders. The metadata was scrubbed. The logs were deleted. To the outside world, the footage simply didn't exist. So how did the Glass House get it? They didn't hack the server, they hacked the stream. It turns out the rush to deploy these federal units meant that the encryption keys for the live uplink were not rotated. A mid-level IT contractor at the DHS, someone who likely saw the murder happen live on his monitor and decided he couldn't live with the secret, created a backdoor mirror of the feed. He didn't leak it immediately. He waited. He waited to see if the government would tell the truth. When the president tweeted that Sarah Jenkins was a terrorist enabler, the contractor pulled the trigger. He uploaded the file to a decentralized blockchain-based storage network called Arweave. Once a file is on Arweave, it cannot be deleted. It cannot be censored. It is there forever. At 2 a.m., the link was posted to 4chan, Reddit, and a dozen Discord servers simultaneously. By 2:15 a.m., the White House cybersecurity team detected the traffic spike. By 2:30 a.m., they were trying to DDoS the hosting nodes. But it was too late. The Streisand effect took over. Millions of people had already downloaded it. The White House woke up to a nightmare. The evidence of their crime was trending #1 globally. Warning, what we are about to describe is graphic. It is the documentation of a murder. The video file is 12 minutes long. It begins at 8:35 p.m., 7 minutes before the shot. The perspective is from the chest of the shooter, identified in the file metadata only as Agent 734. He is standing in the phalanx line on Lake Street. The audio is crisp. You can hear the heavy breathing of the agent. You can hear the chanting of the crowd. Go away, go away! The crowd is about 50 yards back. They are not charging. They are standing. The tear gas is fired. You see the canisters arc through the air. You hear the agent laugh. That's a hit, he says to the man next to him. This contradicts the official report that claimed the agents were under heavy assault. They sound relaxed. They sound like they are at a shooting range. This is the critical moment. The smoke clears slightly. You see a figure run out from the crowd. It is Sarah Jenkins. The camera's low-light sensor adjusts. You can clearly see the blue scrubs. You can clearly see the white medical cross on her backpack. She kneels next to the fallen teenager. She raises her hands. The agent raises his rifle. The red dot of his holographic sight settles on her chest. Here is where the audio becomes the smoking gun. Agent 734. Target is obstructing the arrest. Medic markings. There is a pause. A voice comes over the earpiece. It is distorted, but intelligible. Command. Is she securing the HVT, high-value target? Agent 734. Negative. She is flushing eyes. She's in the open. Command. We cannot lose the target. Clear the board. Authorized. Agent 734. Copy. Green light. 742. The shot. The camera jerks from the recoil. You see Sarah Jenkins fall. You hear the crowd scream. 750. The agent lowers the weapon. He does not rush to help. He does not call for a medic. He turns to the agent next to him and says, "Threat neutralized." This video destroys every single defense the president has offered. She was charging. False. She was kneeling. It was an accident. False. He asked for permission and got it. She was a terrorist. False. He identified her as a medic before shooting. This is first-degree murder. It is premeditated, it is calculated, and it was authorized by a superior officer. The internet is currently obsessed with one question. Who is the voice on the radio? The audio has been run through spectral analysis by experts at Bellingcat and major news networks. It does not match the local tactical commander on the ground in Minneapolis. The signal latency suggests the voice was coming from a remote location. This implies that the Federal Rapid Response Team was being directed from a command center in D.C. Was it the Department of Homeland Security Operations Center, NOC? Was it the FBI Strategic Information and Operations Center, SIOC? Or was it the White House Situation Room? The voice uses military terminology, HVT, clear the board. This suggests a high-ranking official or a private contractor with military background. Why is this important? Because if the order to kill a nurse came from Washington, then the president's chain of command is directly liable. It's not a rogue agent anymore. It is a state execution. We are hearing rumors, unconfirmed but persistent, that the voice has been identified as a senior political appointee in the DHS, a man known for his hardline loyalty to Stephen Miller. If a political appointee gave a kill order on U.S. soil, that is the end of the administration. The leak didn't just expose the murder, it exposed the cover-up. Included in the data dump were the server logs from the DHS video archive. These logs show a flurry of activity starting at 9:15 p.m. Tuesday, right after the president's tweet. User ID, admin, root 45, action, delete file, target, cam 734 stream, archive. The system flagged the deletion request, but then a second command was entered, overwrite sectors. They didn't just want to delete it, they wanted to wipe the drive so it couldn't be recovered. This is obstruction of justice on a federal level. This is the 18.5-minute gap of the Nixon tapes, but in 4K resolution. The logs show that the deletion command originated from an IP address within the Executive Office of the President, EOP. Someone inside the White House tried to destroy evidence of a homicide. This is what has caused the panic today. The lawyers know that murder has no statute of limitations. They know that destroying federal records is a felony. They know that the digital fingerprints lead right to the West Wing. This morning, the White House counsel's office is practically empty. Attorneys are resigning en masse to avoid being part of the criminal conspiracy. They are hiring their own lawyers. When the president's lawyers are hiring lawyers, you know it's over. So how is Donald Trump handling the fact that the world has seen the video? He is melting down. Sources say he hasn't slept in 36 hours. He is convinced there is a rat in the room. He is confiscating the phones of his senior staff. He is screaming that the video is a deep fake created by AI. In fact, at 6 a.m. this morning, he posted exactly that on Truth Social. The video is fake, AI generated by the radical left. I have seen the real tape, which we can't release for national security. The nurse was armed. Do not believe your eyes. The deep state is trying to frame our heroes. This defense is desperate. Forensic experts have already authenticated the video. The lighting, the shadows, the audio frequencies. It is impossible to fake to this level of perfection in 24 hours. By claiming it is fake, Trump is digging the hole deeper. He is asking his supporters to reject reality. And for the first time, even his supporters aren't buying it. We are seeing comments on pro-Trump forums saying, "It looks real, Mr. President. Why did the agent say green light? This is bad. The reality distortion field has failed. The president is shouting fake, but the world is seeing murder." The most dangerous development for Trump is not the internet. It is the Pentagon. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff viewed the video at 4 a.m. He reportedly called an emergency meeting of the service chiefs. The military is furious. They see federal agents dressed like soldiers, using military weapons, committing war crimes. They know that the public cannot distinguish between a soldier and a militarized cop. This stains the reputation of the armed forces. We are hearing reports that the Joint Chiefs have issued a stand-down order to all military units. They have effectively quarantined the president. If Trump tries to invoke the Insurrection Act now, if he tries to order the army to clear the streets, the generals will refuse. They will cite the video as evidence that the orders are illegal. This is a soft coup. Or rather, it is the system protecting itself from a criminal executive. The military has decided they will not be the president's hit squad. Trump has lost the gun. He only has the megaphone left. The legal ramifications are going global. The International Criminal Court, ICC, in The Hague has announced they are opening a preliminary examination into the incident. They are calling it a potential extrajudicial execution of protected medical personnel. Usually, the U.S. laughs off the ICC. But the U.S. allies, Europe, Canada, Japan, are members of the ICC. They are obligated to cooperate. This means that if the agent or the commander or even the president travels to Europe, they could face an arrest warrant. The president of the United States is rapidly becoming a prisoner within his own borders. Domestically, the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, or his successor, has announced he is charging Agent 734 with first-degree murder. He is also subpoenaing the DHS server logs. He is going to compel the White House to reveal who gave the order. This sets up a Supreme Court battle, states' right to prosecute murder versus federal executive privilege. But with the video out there, does the Supreme Court want to protect a murderer? Does Justice Kavanaugh want to write an opinion saying the president has the right to order the execution of nurses? It is unlikely. The video forces the court to abandon Trump to save its own legitimacy. Let's spend a moment on the deep fake claim, because this will be the GOP talking point for the next week. Trump claims AI did this. But here is why that fails. Chain of custody. The file dumped by the Glass House contains cryptographic signatures. These signatures match the encryption keys used by Axon, the camera manufacturer. Axon has publicly stated, just minutes ago, that the file signature is authentic. They have confirmed the device ID corresponds to a unit sold to the DHS in 2024. Furthermore, the metadata inside the file includes GPS coordinates, barometric pressure readings, and gyroscopic data that perfectly syncs with the physical movements seen in other videos of the event filmed by bystanders. To fake this, you wouldn't just need to generate video, you would need to simulate the entire physics of the event from a perspective that didn't exist until the leak. It is technically impossible. Trump is betting that his base doesn't understand metadata, but the jury will, and the military does. The hunt for the leaker is the most intense manhunt in federal history right now. The FBI is tearing apart the DHS IT department. But here's the twist. The Glass House claims the leaker is already gone. They claim the source is safe and outside U.S. jurisdiction. This implies the leaker defected. Did they go to Canada, which is currently hostile to the U.S.? Did they go to Europe? If the leaker surfaces in London or Berlin and gives an interview, if they testify about the kill order, it will be the Snowden event of 2026. And given the fatal insult tweet, Europe might grant them asylum just to spite Trump. The president has created a world where his own secrets can find safe harbor with his allies. The protesters aren't just chanting anymore, they are projecting. Tonight, outside the White House, they have set up massive projectors. They are playing the leaked video on a loop against the side of the executive office building. Imagine that. The president looks out his window and he sees the murder playing 50 feet tall on the wall of his own government. The audio, "Clear the board, authorized," is booming through PA systems. You cannot ignore that. You cannot tweet that away. It is a psychological siege. The ballroom crater is now an amphitheater for the president's crimes. We are witnessing the speed of information destroying the speed of tyranny. In the past, a cover-up like this could last years. In 2026, it lasted 48 hours. The video is the truth. The president is the lie. And the gap between the two has become a canyon that Donald Trump cannot jump across. The protests are growing. The military is checking out. The lawyers are fleeing. And Sarah Jenkins's face is looking down from every screen in America. The cover-up didn't just fail, it backfired. It turned a tragedy into a regime-ending crisis. We will be monitoring the Glass House channels. They say they have more. They say this was just file 1. If there is a file 2, we might not have a president by Monday. Subscribe. Turn on notifications, because the truth is leaking and the dam is about to break. We need to talk about the Senate. Yesterday, we said the Senate was quietly furious. Today, they are openly terrified. Senators are watching the video. They are seeing the polling. A flash poll from Gallup this morning shows support for impeachment jumping 12 points overnight. It is now at 58%. That is the danger zone. If 58% of Americans want him gone, the senators start worrying about their own seats. We are hearing that a delegation of senior GOP senators, Thune, Cornyn, etc., is heading to the White House this afternoon. This is the Goldwater moment. They are going to tell him, Mr. President, you don't have the votes to survive a trial. They are going to ask him to resign. Trump will refuse. He will scream. He will threaten to primary them. But the fact that they are going, that tells you everything. The party is cutting the cord. Trump is pivoting to civil war rhetoric to save himself. He is posting about defending the republic and the final battle. He is trying to activate the militias. But the militias are confused. They liked the strong man. They don't like the liar. The video shows a government agent killing an unarmed American woman. For the libertarian wing of the MAGA movement, the Don't Tread on Me crowd, this is their nightmare. They don't want a government that shoots nurses. Trump is losing the fringe because he became the very tyranny they fear. He is left with only the sycophants. And sycophants don't fight. They flee. The leaked video is the turning point of the entire timeline. Before this, it was incompetence. Now it is criminality. Before this, it was policy. Now it is murder. Donald Trump has survived many things. He cannot survive the truth in 4K resolution. Stay tuned. The end is near.